Okay, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing with the HackerRank challenge titled 1D Arrays Missy. So let's go through it. An array is a continuous object that holds a fixed number of values of a single type. To create an array in C, he can do int arr open brackets n close brackets semicolon. Sorry, before I continue, let me say a short prayer. Father, thank you for today. Thank you for your word and thank you for understanding of everything you should learn today. In Jesus' name. Okay, so let's continue. Here, ARR is a variable array which holds up to 10 integers. The above array is a static array that has memory allocated at compile time. A dynamic array can be created in C using the malloc function, and the memory is allocated on the heap at runtime. To create an integer array, ARR size m. Int, you use the command int asterisk ARR is equal to all this, where ARR points to the base address of the array. When you have finished with the array, use free ARR to deallocate the memory. In this challenge, create an array of size n dynamically and read the values from std. Iterate the array, calculates the sum of all elements, brings the sum, and free the memory where the array is stored. While it is true that you can sum the elements as they are read without first storing them to an array, but you will not get the experience working with an array. Efficiency will be required later. Okay, so it's simple. You want us to create an array of a certain size, which they will give, which is the value n. This spans from 1 to 1,000. Okay, so they'll give us n. Then based on n, we'll create an array. Now, if you are not sure, I've done any video array, but let's do a quick recap. Normally, if you want to create an array, you usually would have already the size of the array, so you just put that there, that will be this size. But sometimes you don't know the size of the array, so it's based on the user's input that you create the array. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to take the user's input, which is n. Okay, so you can say it ends n. So it's going to scanf that, right? Say that's minutes. Now, based on that, we're going to create an array. And instead of creating the array, like the, we are expected to create a dynamic, and that will teach us about linear allocation. Okay, so let's just do that. So just do the same code as we're written the is equal to minutes enter malloc. Then we have pen with size of int. Now this code might look confused, but it's actually simple. So this is actually this line. What it's doing is we are creating a pointer called ARR. Okay, that is pointing to a certain memory chunk. What malloc does is that it sort of looks for memory. Don't put it that way. It looks for a space in memory which is available for us to store data. Then it sends the pointer to that memory, the address to that memory space, to this variable. So this variable will be storing an address to a memory location. That's why it's a pointer. So the pointer is supposed to have a memory address, right? And what we are doing here simply is we are typecasting that pointer to an integer pointer, so that when we maybe dereference it, we are able to dereference it into an integer and not any other data type. Then what this code is doing here is this size of is finding the size of an integer data type based on the system's architecture. So we are using the size of operator to determine the size, whether it's 4 bytes or 8 bytes, right, of an integer, and we are multiplying that by n, and that will give us the total size of the memory that should be allocated for storing the number of values the user inputs. Okay, so that's basically what's happening here. So once we've allocated memory, they said, what should we do now? We should read the values from standard inputs and iterate. So basically, we are going to be reading n values. Okay, so we are going to loop and then read everything into the array. So we can do something like this. So for int I equals I less than n, I plus plus, and we can store it in the array. How do we store it in the array? But what we can do is we can say we dereference the array. Okay, so we'll have dereference arr plus I, okay, is equal to, okay, sorry, we have to take the first value first. So we have to first use scanf. Let me just create a variable called val. Okay, let me call it carrying spot. Let me call it val. It's equal to 0. Okay, then we'll read the value for val, which the user will enter. Okay, and then we'll store it. So this is how we'll store it. We'll dereference the pointer, okay, add the index, and set it equal to val. And this is how we store it. Okay, then now they said we should sum all the elements. Now they don't want us to sum all the elements inside here, because inside here we can set to sum all the elements, but they don't want us to do that. So what we are going to do is, instead of summing all the elements inside here, sorry, I didn't bring, yeah, I'm precisely here. Instead of summing it inside here, we're going to do it outside, all for learning sake. So we are going to have another for loop pins I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, okay, where we are going to say print f present the string express. Then we are going to have the dereference arr plus I, and as simple as that. So once they enter 6, they enter, once they enter 6, they enter these values. Then we print out, we are supposed to print out the total. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do here is create a variable called sum, set it to 0. Okay, then I'll say here that sum plus equal to arr plus I. Okay, then I'll print sum. Simply, let's run this speed and see those. Perfection. Now let's submit. Perfect. It's as simple as that.